Today, we're going to take a journey to a place you've been a trillion times but have never actually seen. It's a universe that exists inside of you, right now. We are exploring the incredible, bustling world of the cell. No, have you ever really stopped to think about it? Not just bones and muscle, but what are the absolute smallest, living, fundamental things that make you, well, you? Today, we're going to find out. So here's our roadmap. First, we'll pinpoint the smallest possible living thing. Then we'll cover the 3 golden rules that all cells have to follow. After that, we'll meet the 2 major families of cells, take a grand tour of the tiny city inside a cell, and finally, we'll zoom out to see why this microscopic world is quite literally everything. Okay, first up, let's tackle the biggest question of all. Where does life officially begin? What's the smallest possible thing that we can actually point to and say, yep, that's alive?
And there it is. That's our answer. You, the tree outside your window, your pet, every single living thing is just a massive coordinated community of tiny living units we call cells. And we're not talking thousands or millions here. We're talking trillions of them all working together in this unbelievable harmony.
And what's wild is the scale of it all. You've got an organism like an amoeba, which is just a single cell. Think of it like a lone wolf. It does everything by itself. It eats, it moves, it survives all on its own. But then you have us. We're multicellular. We're more like a huge, sprawling country with billions of citizens, and every cell has a specialized job. Heart cells pump, nerve cells send messages, skin cells protect, you get the idea. All for the good of the whole.
So, if cells are the bedrock of life, what are the rules they play by? Well, pretty much everything we know is built on what's called modern cell theory. And you can think of these as the 3 unbreakable laws that govern every living thing on this planet. These 3 rules are so simple, but they're incredibly powerful. So, rule 1. The cell is the smallest thing you can call alive. An atom isn't. A molecule isn't. The cell is where life starts. Rule 2. If it's alive, it is made of cells. Period. No exceptions. And rule 3, this is a big one. Cells don't just pop into existence. Every single cell comes from another cell that divided. That simple fact explains growth, healing, life itself. Okay, so all life is made of cells. Got it. But it turns out not all cells are built the same way. There's this massive fork in the evolutionary road that splits all cells into 2 totally distinct camps. And this is a fantastic way to picture the difference. Prokaryotic cells are kind of like a simple studio apartment. Everything's just in one open space, including the DNA blueprints just floating around. Super efficient. Eukaryotic cells, on the other hand, are like a sprawling mansion. They've got all these specialized rooms for different jobs, and most importantly, they have a secure vault in the center, the nucleus, to protect those priceless DNA blueprints. So who lives where? Well, the prokaryotes, our studio apartment dwellers, are the microscopic powerhouses like bacteria. The eukaryotes, the ones with the mansions, that's basically everything you can see. Plants, animals, fungi, us. But despite that huge difference, every single cell on Earth, no matter what, comes with the same 4 basic pieces of equipment. They all have DNA as the blueprint, cytoplasm as the jelly-like stuff that fills the cell, ribosomes as tiny protein building machines, and a cell membrane to act as a border. This shared toolkit is a huge clue that all life on this planet is related.
All right, time for the main event. We are going to shrink ourselves down and take a guided tour inside one of those eukaryotic mansions. And the best way to think about it is as a complex, non-stop, bustling city where every single part has a critical job to do.
So, our tour starts at the city limits, the cell membrane. Now, this isn't just a wall, it's more like a super smart security gate. It carefully checks everything trying to get in or out, letting in nutrients and kicking out waste. This whole process is crucial for keeping things perfectly balanced inside, a state we call homeostasis. Next up, we're headed to the heart of the city, the nucleus. This is basically City Hall, the command center. This is where the city's most valuable possession is kept under lock and key, the DNA. It's the master blueprint that contains the instructions for everything the cell will ever need to do. So if the nucleus is City Hall, then the ribosomes are the thousands of little factories scattered all over the city. These things are the real workhorses. They get their orders, which are copies of the DNA blueprint, and they get to work building proteins, which are the tools and building materials for pretty much everything. Now, connected to the nucleus, you find this massive network called the endoplasmic reticulum, or just ER. Think of it as the city's industrial park and highway system. The rough ER gets its name because it's studded with all those ribosome factories, and it helps process the proteins they make. The smooth ER is different, no ribosomes. Its job is to build fats and act as the city's detox center. So after stuff is made in the industrial park, it has to get sorted and shipped out, right? Well, that's the job of the Golgi apparatus. This is the city's main post office. It takes in materials from the ER, puts some finishing touches on them,
sorts them by their final destination, and then packages them up into little delivery bubbles called vesicles. Of course, a city this busy needs a ton of energy to run, and that's where the mitochondria come in. These are the power plants. They take fuel, like sugar, and convert it into a high-energy molecule called ATP. You can think of ATP as the cell's rechargeable batteries. They get sent all over the city to power every single job that needs to be done.
Now, it's really important to remember that not all these eukaryotic cities are built exactly the same. Plant cells, for example, have three key features that animal cells just don't have. They have a rigid cell wall for extra support, chloroplasts, which are basically solar panels that make food from sunlight, and a huge central vacuole that acts like a water storage tank. These three things are what make a plant a plant.
So let's see this whole city working together. Let's say the cell needs to send a protein outside. Okay, step 1, the order is sent out from the DNA in the nucleus. Step 2, a ribosome on the rough ER builds the protein. Step 3, it gets sent over to the Golgi post office for final packaging. And step 4, it's shipped out of the city. It's a perfect, high-tech assembly line, happening millions of times a second.
Okay, after that super detailed tour of our microscopic city, let's zoom back out. Why does any of this matter? Why is it so important to understand all this tiny, complicated machinery? This quote really just nails it. Every single thing that happens in the living world, from how your body fights off a cold to how a flower turns towards the sun, it's all a direct result of things happening at the cellular level. If you want to understand biology, you absolutely have to start here. And that's really the big takeaway. Life isn't some strange magical force. It's what happens when trillions of these tiny, organized, living systems all work together. Your ability to think, to move, to feel. It's all the grand total of these microscopic cities, all communicating and cooperating.
So we'll leave you with this to chew on. You aren't just one single thing. You're a walking, talking ecosystem made of trillions of individual living organisms. So, where does the cell stop and you begin? It's a pretty mind-bending question about what it truly means to be alive. Join us again next time for another aha moment.